Hey girl, welcome back to the Win A Pageant podcast. I'm your coach, Alycia Darby. Today's special guest is Carly Hartman. Carly's heart is the biggest heart you've ever seen. This woman is just firing all cylinders to truly make a difference in the world and to help others do that very same thing. She is the founder and the owner of Pageant 360. Now, Pageant 360 is very different than mainstream kind of traditional pageants. Pageant 360 is more of a personal development experience for women who are interested in pageantry. So Carly focuses on self-development and platform enhancing. So in this episode, we talk a lot about platform. We talk a lot about giving back and what the true essence of pageantry really is all about. Hi, Carly. Thank you so much for being on the Win a Pageant podcast. Happy to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I cannot wait to meet all your people.
Oh my gosh. Well, I know that you have so much value to add today. I was just on an Insta story before we got on and I was like, her heart is so big and it's so true. Like that is what I feel from you just with everything that you've created in your businesses at such a young age. But instead of me telling your whole story, why don't you share with our audience for people who don't know you yet, share a little bit about your background, especially in pageantry, and then what you're up to today.
Yeah, I would love to. This is like one of my favorite stories ever. That's why Pageant 360 is my baby because I love talking about it. It's how it's changing girls' lives. And so the story goes that I was 18 years old. I've always wanted to empower girls in some way because I conquered bullying when I was little and I was extremely shy when I was little as well. So I've gone through a lot in life, and especially with the Lord on my side. Oh my gosh, he is my absolute best friend. So that is first things first here. So
Great.
Just so we're clear on that, I got through everything because of what God has brought me through. But I believe that every day is the best day ever. So no matter what I ever went through, I always just had that in my spirit. Like the Lord always reminding me, Carly, it's okay. Like, you know, your identity in me, everything's good, you know? Yeah. So I'm just so thankful that I got that in my life, but many others don't experience that because they either were not raised Christian, they don't believe whatever, but I just want to empower other girls who have struggled with things that don't have a way out. And so that was me in high school. And so I graduated high school at 17. I started at a community college just to go there. I was going to go to a 4-year. God told me not to go. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So I did my 2-year college, which was really awesome. It was the best years of my life. I loved it. But then, I was 18 and I'm like, okay, I already had one business I started when I was 17. So then it's a jewelry line. And then I'm like, okay, great. Like, this is awesome. Just coasting through life, going to school. Yeah. And then I see an advertisement for a pageant on my email. And I was like, ooh, that kind of sounds nice. Like, I've never really ever thought about being a pageant girl at all. But I was like, maybe this is my way to get out there and have a platform. So I call my mom and she's the best ever because both my parents are always like, do whatever you set your mind. Like you could do whatever you want to do in life. It's really, really awesome. I'm so thankful for them. So she's like, Carly, that's great. Do it. So I started training for 9 months and I was like super involved in all the meetings and whatever. And like, I really knew I was going to win because I knew God had like showed me this. Yeah. Like it was a great outlet. And so I'm going. And then 2 weeks before, after I was training forever, I was so pumped. Everyone knew I was going to do it. And like, I really thought I was going to win. There was like 4 girls in the pageant. It was so down. And then God told me to drop out 2 weeks before. No. And I was like, wow, okay. Lord, I'm totally going to obey you because you know more about my life than I do. So I'm obviously going to take that step with you, but I don't understand why I would be training for 9 months. Yeah. And I'm so involved, like I'm so ready. And so it was just really because I didn't want to expose myself in the way that they were asking me to. I was going to do it. It was totally fine. But I just knew that God's like, just take a stand for inner beauty with me. I was like, okay, that's fine. Like I'm willing to sacrifice this huge opportunity of fame, whatever, for this. So I was crying to my trainer and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing this. Like we have worked so hard. Yeah. Was like, Carly, why don't you just start your own? And I was like, I'm like doing sit-ups. Like, I was like, yeah.
You were at the gym during this conversation with your physical trainer. You're doing sit-ups and they said that. Oh my gosh, that's so good.
She's the best. So she's also a Christian and I love her. So like, that's why I picked her to be my trainer. And so she totally was like, just do your own. And I was like, oh my God, duh. Why would I not think of that before? Yeah. So I just quickly went to my mom and I was like, Mom, I'm starting my own inner beauty pageant called Pageant 360. And it came out that quickly. I had no idea. I didn't plan anything. It just came out. It was so God inspired.
Yeah.
And so this is not me taking a stand against the pageant world. I'm not against it at all. I was going to be in the pageant system.
Yeah.
Like, I have nothing against pageants, but I am everything for what God wants to do in my life to affect others. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to put it aside and do this for him.
Mm-hmm.
So that weekend, I got all my girlfriends together from church and I was like, hey girls, so we're starting our own inner beauty pageant, or like, I'm doing this, like, can you help?
Yeah.
And I was the oldest one there. I'm 18. So they're all like 18 and under. And so it was February of 2014, and we started planning for our first pageant, which happened in August of 2014.
Wow.
So I thought it'd be like planning a birthday party. It's a little different than that. I had no idea what it involves. Did it, and it was so awesome.
Wow.
And so we somehow got 7 girls in this pageant, and we had somehow 50 people come, and we got like magazine coverage and everything. And I was like, wow, this is insane.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, then the day after that, I was like, okay, I don't want this to end. I'm going to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it was we're planning for 2015. The day after, I got to pitch it to our local city as a 19-year-old, and then they partnered with us, and we get to do everything there with them. It's absolutely amazing in the city of Agora Hills. And I love them. We get to use their beautiful building like all the time, whenever we need it, because they just love the vision.
Wow.
And so we had our second pageant in 2015, our third inner beauty pageant in 2016, and then our fourth one this past summer in 2017. So that was in July. And then we got a huge opportunity to go to Africa. So we went to Africa, did Pageant 360 in August in Africa.
Oh my gosh.
What it really is just, it's a week-long program. We have a Go Impact Conference is what it's called. So it really hones in on who you were created to be, your confidence. It's not a Christian pageant, but we have all Christian morals because we're all Christians who are hosting it, because we want to reach those girls who don't have Jesus, you know, like we want them to know that they're still welcome, and that we still love them. And so anyways, it's just really, really awesome. And it's all about empowering them to be world changers. We really focus how they want to change the world, what their passions are. And then the showcase day, Pageant 360 day, is the end of the week, and that's when the girls go on stage and just celebrate what they have done throughout the week.
Wow.
So that's the whole system, and that's the story.
Yeah, what a beautiful like vision, and it's obviously God inspired, because I truly believe that when we're seeing things that have been done before, they can come from any other inspiration. But when it's something that has never been done before, you know that came from God. Like, where else would you have thought that up, you know?
So true. And my sister always says, being a trailblazer means that there is no trail.
Yes.
I think that's so amazing, because obviously that's an obvious statement, but I'm like, wait, there is no trail. That's so true. A trailblazer is making your own. And so that's what it is.
I love it. And like making it up as you go, like figuring it out one step at a time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's truly beautiful. And it's really a cool, I love how, for me, my story with pageantry was mostly about personal development. And it's really what got me into personal development and exploring different areas of the self and growing in new ways. Pageantry is what got me started on that. And I really believe that what you're creating is that kind of, that conference all at once is like a power-packed personal development experience. And at the end, instead of like competing against each other and like seeing what we can do, you're providing the training that leads up to the showcase. I love how you describe it, like a showcase of, hey, what did you learn? How did you grow this week? You know, such a cool thing. Yeah, very cool. So tell me some of these success stories, because I know that now, after many years of this pageant being around and all of the things that I'm sure have grown and gone into it, and then you had the opportunity to be in Africa, can you share a little bit about some of the things that the women have done or experienced or created as a result of Pageant 360?
Absolutely. So I'd say like our first year, it's really great. Like a lot of our girls in the first year have still been going on and doing other pageants. So after like they were in ours, they still were like, you know, that was amazing. And I grew so much, so that they're still able to take what we taught them, because we really focus on public speaking, everything that pageants, you know, celebrate too. We do that. Just in a different take, but they still went on and they competed, and they're like pursuing their filming and acting careers, and they are really confident in their bodies, which is like the one thing for me. This one girl in particular, she's like, I saw her at the last pageant this year, and I was like, you just like look amazing. I was like, what's your workout routine? Like, tell me. She's like, I honestly don't do anything, Carly. It's literally because of what I learned in Pageant 360. I'm like, I love myself. I was like, what? You know? So
Yeah.
she keeps herself healthy, but she just like looks so good. And like,
Wow.
I really believe it's just her inner beauty shining out that she doesn't feel like, I feel like if you're always like, oh my gosh, I look fat and all the time, you're going to keep like, not making much results because you're so focused on that. But she just like has let it go and she's free from it. And therefore she looks amazing and she's just like radiating every time I see her.
Yeah.
So that's been incredible. And then the other years, like we have one girl who was, like who's an activist, I think. So I don't really know exactly what she does, but she has a great like club like thing that she's arranging on her campus at college where she's just like bringing in speakers and doing great things to really support what her platform is, and hers was
Wow.
anti-bullying. So it's really cool to see that. And also like I do Flower Friday every Friday, so like I give people flowers on Fridays, which is like what I
Oh,
do, Coach
that's
Hartman
beautiful.
does.
Yeah.
But I always teach my girls that too, like you don't have to do that, but do something like that to
Yeah.
help other people, just give them a smile on their face. Like I also love bringing cookies to like the fire department.
Yeah.
And my girls like a few weeks ago that just were in this pageant, they were like, "Oh my gosh, Carly, I'm so excited because we just gave everyone flowers last Friday because of you." I was like, "What?" You know, teach that in the pageant too is like such a blessing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one of our girls this year had a service dog who was so cute. I loved him so much.
Oh.
And so she had to bring him all the time because of her, like, I think has anxiety.
Hmm.
So she kept bringing him and everything. And then like the last day, she like didn't bring him. Like he was getting his hair done, which
Huh.
means like she was fine to be without
Wow.
because of
Wow.
this long event. So what's so special to me is just seeing that not only the transformation over the week,
Yeah.
but also afterwards,
Yeah.
and I really love like personally coaching these girls one on one after, because I don't preach the word to them at my event because it's not a Christian event,
Hmm.
but one on one behind the scenes, that's exactly what I do. And so
Yeah.
my one girl that I still talk to from like our second pageant, and she's like, I'm trying to get plugged into a church like you, like, because it's just like I need to do that. And it's
Yeah.
like, let me just like inspire you to get plugged in and get
Mm.
closer to the Lord because He just loves you. So there's
Yeah.
like so many different sides to it: the personal one on one, and then like the group.
Yeah.
But they all have really great testimonies, and they all just have really great passions in life
Yeah.
to just now go take those public speaking skills and everything out into
Yeah.
the world and go
So
achieve that.
true. Yeah. It's so interesting because what you're really describing in terms of a platform, in mainstream pageantry, the platform, oftentimes women get into it because they think they are supposed to be doing something that's like, I have to do Relay for Life, or I have to do the American Heart Association, or I have to, and they kind of attach themselves to organizations or something that they're not necessarily like fully committed to, or they didn't get a message from God that says, hey, this is where you're to be aligned. What's cool about Pageants 360, what I'm hearing you say is you're helping people develop personal platforms. And and it sounds so goofy, fuzzy, probably to some people, like, oh, I give flowers to people every Friday. Like it's like,
Right.
flowers, oh, come on. But really what you're doing is inspiring and you're encouraging and you're doing it with such beauty and just love. And who wouldn't want to receive a flower, Like that's such a
Yeah.
just a beautiful thing to do. And I like the way you described it because you said it's just what Carly does. And one of the things I teach my women is about legacy projects. So we do legacy projects. We don't focus as much on platform as we do your personal legacy, because that's the thing. What you're training your girls is what's going to take them through in life to make them successful in life, not just get the crown, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Powerful
So
stuff there.
we only have one winner because
Yeah.
we like structure it like a pageant. We have
Yeah.
the evening gown and all the platform statements and everything. But we have one winner just so we have like that one girl throughout all the years as we keep going and going.
Yeah.
So we can simply, okay, like from 2014, 2015, like they don't always have to be involved, all the girls, if they
Yeah.
don't want to, if they're out of town or whatever.
Yeah.
But they really all win. Like, and I know
Yeah.
I really like the concept of having a winner, because I don't really believe in like, oh my gosh, everyone wins. Like you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you should like definitely like try your hardest at something. But I do say that everyone does win because they all get the same thing. They all get the
Yeah.
same coaching and the same training. There's nothing like, oh, you get this. They also get to be involved in our sisterhood afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's a really great family aspect, because a lot of
Yeah.
these girls don't even have a family or friends to like latch on to, but we can be that for them. So
Yes.
that's why I love it, because it's just an ongoing thing. It doesn't end after the pageant ends on that Saturday.
Yeah, it's so cool. Wow. It's really flipping the industry upside down. It's such a cool thing. So you had mentioned previously, you mentioned inner beauty. And Inner beauty, I think sometimes that phrase feels like thrown around a lot. Like people, oh, just express your inner beauty. And
Yeah.
from a person like I've competed in mainstream pageants, almost all the main national pageants, and it is so confusing when you're in the moment because there's so much put on outer beauty. There's so much the expense of hair and makeup, the expense of even just tanning, and the wardrobe, and there's so much that goes on because it is a show. It's a production, right? So it's a lot like a musical theater production or that type of performance where it is a lot about what you're putting out. But help me understand, what is inner beauty to you, and maybe even the differences between those or how they work together.
Yeah, that's such a good question because whenever I have my judges, we have judges scattered in the audience. There's no judges table. It's just, you don't know who they are because it's not a competition, it's a community. So we have them just scattered about, and then I talk to them one on one beforehand. I'm like, okay, guys, obviously, how do you judge on inner beauty? Because everyone's beautiful on the inside. So how do you do that?
Yeah.
But I really have them judge confidence, poise, posture, eye contact, speaking ability, all of those things that will help them to be able to present this out in the world. So, like, their platform is all about how they want to change the world. And that's what we celebrate with these girls on stage in these pageants is I want like the audience to leave inspired. Like, wow, that 15-year-old wants to do this and change amazing things. I can now do this. We've had countless amount of audience members saying the same thing, like, wow, that really changed my life. So what I just love is that it celebrates them and how they want to change the world. We're celebrating that and not necessarily their we don't do their bodies or anything.
Yeah.
It's all about their inner beauty. And I believe inner beauty is how you love people and how you are Jesus to others. And so
Yeah.
obviously I don't say that necessarily in my pageant program,
Mhm.
but I do say, how do you want to change the world? And let's step outside of ourselves and see how we're able to impact others. So the only way we judge that is by their confidence and stuff on stage that they learn.
Yeah.
But like, girls, if you can talk in front of 100 audience members and you were so shy before, you're able to talk in front of any city council member, whatever you want to present your topic to, because you have had this experience.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's the ultimate English speech in English class, like
Yeah.
when you're in school, it's like, you got this. So we really
Yeah.
just judge on that so that the girls can see how they can improve now when they go out into the world.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's and what you're describing, in terms of the external stuff that you can score, right? So it's like eye contact, posture. I do believe that those things happen when we do feel whole and complete on the inside. So when you do have that inner beauty, which is like that self I did a study on beauty once that was all about perception. So beauty is truly a perceived experience. And so it sounds like what you're describing, the audience feeling inspired, feeling connected to the person, feeling like intrigued by them. And that perception of beauty, whether it's out external or internal, however they sense it, it truly is from the person coming up filled up already, and filled up
Right.
in the right things, right? Because we can fill up on a lot of fake stuff or a lot of just kind of puff the chest because someone told you looked great or whatever. But the depth of what you're teaching, and I agree with you that sort of biblical principles, when we apply biblical principles to our life, you will flourish. So if you're teaching that, whether you say Jesus or not, it's still teaching biblical principles. That's going to make people successful. So that's so cool.
Absolutely. So my mom always tells me to just speak in parables like Jesus did
Yeah.
because I can't actually say his name because of the event or something.
Yeah.
I just still speak in parables. But
Yeah.
this last conference was titled Reflection, Learning to Love What You See in the Mirror. And
Oh,
so that I think is really special because it ties outer and inner beauty together.
yeah.
So it's just your perception is off if you look at yourself in the mirror and you think you're ugly. Because of course, like there's like different levels of beauty out there. It's
Yeah.
not like I'm saying, oh my God, everyone like I just want people to know that like they are beautiful because God says that they're beautiful and you're created for a
Yeah.
purpose.
Yes.
So it's like no matter what you look like on the outside, what
Mhm.
does he see you as?
Yeah.
And then what did he put inside of you? So
Yeah.
that's what's going to shine through. And then you're going to start seeing yourself as beautiful. And then you'll start showing that to other people with your confidence
Yeah.
of your identity and who you
Yeah.
are.
Totally. So let me ask you this if this is a little too personal, let me know. But I think this might be something you could be willing to share. Do you now, after several years since that first pageant that you entered, where you were training and training and training to win, do you now, and then God told you, don't do the pageant, like drop out right now. And I imagine that that was, like you shared, like just totally confusing. Does it make sense now? Do you feel like you kind of have a deeper understanding of why he maybe told you to do that in that moment?
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful that I went through all those 9 months of training and like seeing what actual pageant girls go through,
Yeah.
and I was becoming one. So I'm so thankful I got to do all of that because if I didn't, I would not be where I am today. And this is even better than I could have ever imagined because
Yeah.
promoting myself, God has been promoting me,
Yeah.
and we're growing like crazy. And it's all about impacting the one girl. So my big slogan for the pageant is she's worth it, because I just say the one, like that one girl is worth it to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And we're growing so much that in the next 3 years, my goal is to have one pageant 360 in every state of the United States. And just next year alone, we're planning to go to Uganda, Kenya, and South Korea possibly. So that's like all up in the air as we're scheduling out the rest of this year for next year.
So
But
cool.
it's just growing like crazy. How could I have ever done that if I had followed my own plan and my own way of doing things?
Hmm.
I just read in Proverbs this morning that it doesn't matter what kind of plan you have. God's
Yeah.
plan for your life is always greater
Yep.
than your own, and
So
you just have to
true.
suffer.
So
And so
true.
because the people I've been able to impact now from just stepping out and saying, yeah, I'm going to do this instead.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool to see your reach and how it will grow so much more than just 1 year with a title. The
Yeah.
legacy that you're developing. I love when women have a legacy that takes them beyond their 1 year of service, because that's going
Yeah.
to be the thing that truly impacts people. And that's what you're creating. So cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm curious to know from your experience, what is the thing that separates the woman in mainstream pageantry? So imagine like Miss USA, Miss America, that type of thing. What do
Yeah.
you think separates the woman who is, you know, just kind of in it for the title, or she's just in it for the short term? Because my philosophy is that I don't think anyone enters it just for the glory of like, oh, just make me fabulous, right? I do think that people want something greater, but maybe they haven't touched on it or whatever. What do you notice as the difference between the people who truly make a lifelong impact in the world versus those who kind of just compete and then get out of pageantry? Have you noticed a difference?
A little bit, I would say. I don't even know many girls that have been in the traditional pageant system.
Yeah,
Like, oh my gosh, I know them personally, but what I
yeah,
see that I love whenever I do see some pageant girls that are like out in the communities and doing things,
yeah,
all the time, like they're supposed to do with their service and everything.
yeah,
So I think it's really, really special when I see that, where it's not just for themselves, but it's for like empowering the community at large and around you.
yeah.
And so I really think that when you are entering a pageant, a traditional pageant, whether you're a Christian or not, we're all put here on this earth for a purpose.
Mhm.
And so, how are you able to share that message with someone else? And I believe if we're able to open up our minds to not just, okay, this pageant, like think bigger. Like, what do you want to do to change the world, even in the pageant system? Because you're able to do that no matter if you have the biggest title ever or a small title, because God still has you as that big title in his mind, which means he's going to be able to promote you to anything if you just say yes to that. So I think it's really great that we all have the opportunity to have this as a platform, traditional pageantry, to go out there and now have a name for yourself so that people will take the time to listen to what you have to share. Because I do believe that it's about others and helping others.
Amen. Yeah, totally. Okay, another personal question, because you've just got such good stuff here. I love how big your heart is. So, when you say you hear from God, that was something you mentioned in the beginning of your story, and I imagine you still do today. I know everybody experiences that a little bit differently. Can you describe for our audience, what is that like for you? Like, how do you know that you heard from God?
I know, such a big topic that
Right?
everyone struggles with
Yes.
daily. I believe there's different ways of hearing God. People hear him audibly. I hear him in my heart.
Yeah.
So it's really strange because I don't hear like a voice in my head or in the earth, but I literally know exactly what to do because my heart is saying that. And
Mm.
that's because our conscience inside is the Lord, because we have a spirit. And so it's so cool because it's like, I know that even though I didn't hear it verbally, I still,
Yeah.
the Lord speaks through his word, and I believe to my heart. And
Yeah.
so what's really great is that I can distinguish it, because when I'm like, wait, maybe that wasn't God, then I don't have peace about the decision I was going to
Mm.
make. I have peace with the one that he said to do. And then so everything will line up. Everything lines up.
Yeah.
And I don't view closed doors as God shutting them. I view them as, you know what? Like that wasn't for me. God has
Yeah.
something so much better. Like if I just turn the
Mhm.
corner. So I like never even look to the negativity of things in life
Mhm.
because yes, I believe there's negative things in this world. Absolutely. But how much time am I going to waste thinking of the negative things, thinking of all the horrible things people have done to me in my life,
Mhm.
where I can take what Jesus has done for me and take it out to the world? Heck yes, I'm not going to waste one second of time.
Yes.
That's why I just like love hearing from the Lord because he always knows the rest do. Could you
Yeah.
believe that?
Oh.
He called me to Bible school up in Colorado. I'm here right now in Colorado, last summer. And that was a huge speaking from the Lord in my heart for sure,
Wow.
because I was at a conference up here, started crying for 5 hours.
Oh.
And I just kept in my heart, you have to come here. God shows me all these visions of me up here. And I was like, okay, I'm coming. Like, I have so many businesses. I was not going to go back to school. I also
Yeah.
have a social media marketing business. So I'm like super busy all the time.
Yep.
And I
Wow.
took everything up and uprooted it and brought it up here to Colorado with 2 months to before school started. Did school all last year and absolutely discovered my secret place with the Lord and knowing his
Wow.
voice super well. So that way when I go out and continue Pageant 360, I'm going to know how to make decisions like that.
Yes. Oh, wow. So cool. Yeah, they have that guiding force that you can just go
Yeah.
to. I say that God's my business partner because I'm
He's
like, that's
the only
how it
one I,
goes.
he's the
Yeah,
CEO, you
that's
know?
right. Totally. Yes. I love it. So you mentioned several businesses. So we've got Pageant 360, we've got social media. And what else are you working on?
So it's called Picks with Purpose, which is a jewelry line that used to be called Coraware back when I was 17, when I was just making random jewelry pieces. Now it's called Picks with Purpose because it is a guitar pick jewelry with numbers on them, which is the number signifies how many donations were given to the cause that the customer picked. So we donate to 3 different organizations: A21, New Friends Homeless Center, and Respire Haiti, which is a school in Haiti. And so it's really awesome just to use jewelry as a way to impact the world and change the
Yeah.
world because Coreware was not changing the world. I was just designing and then selling it to people. But Picks with Purpose now is able to give a purpose to something,
Yeah.
and it's actually not wasting my time anymore. I'm actually being able to help other people through it.
Wow.
So yeah, there's always a lot of ideas for businesses in my mind because I've always loved business. So
Yeah.
sometimes God's like, okay, Carly, not now, not now. You
Okay.
cannot start that again. Like another business. I literally start businesses like every day. It's crazy.
Yeah, you're
So yeah,
right. Yeah, it's true. You got to have like the bumpers to say, okay, keep me on target. Keep me on target here.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
exactly.
that's so cool. I love it. Yeah. And it's interesting to hear that backstory too of the original jewelry line that probably trained you and got you excited and created that creativity to be able to do what you're doing now. You know, you're not going to be able to steer a parked car. So it's like you're moving forward anyway. And so
Right.
now you can find that direction and find that path. So so cool.
So
Thanks for sharing that story. Yeah. So
first,
so I understand that there is a mentoring program. That's kind of the next,
yeah.
the newest piece of Pageant 360. Share with me a little bit about that and also tell our audience because I love what you're doing and I really think that it's the like an amazing way, especially for people who want to stay in the pageant industry and try other traditional pageants. How do people get involved in that too? So share a little bit about it.
Yeah, so Pageant 360 has a bunch of different pillars. It has the showcase that we do in person, and then our Go Impact conference, which we do as part of the showcase, and then also separately. Then we also have our blog, which is like, a great thing to always have to have guest writers. But then we just launched in September our 360 initiative, which is an online mentorship program for all the girls already in my pageant, and then anyone else who is interested in our curriculum but may not be able to be where we are as a location because we can only be in so many places at once. And especially since I want to grow and grow and grow in all 50 states and different countries, and we just had all our Africa girls, 15 of them competed, we want to keep in touch with them. So we do have our own separate little groups of like, our legacy girls, or we can still talk on there. But we want to have a forum for people all over, girls all over that are even strangers that are like, I want to learn what they're teaching, but I don't want to actually be in a pageant because I'm terrified. That's totally fine. That all the time.
Yeah.
So like, why don't you just be part of our mentorship program? program, because also people always want to talk to me about like mentoring and whatever. I'm like, let's just have one group to where I can just do everyone at once. And so it's only $100 to join, and then you're in forever. And it's just all about raising you up to be a world changer and a leader, and all about like just literally putting your passions to the road and going for it without any fear, without what anyone says about you. You can do it. And that's what we empower you in the 360 initiative. So I'm really excited that it just launched because it's been amazing.
Yeah. So if somebody joins this initiative, what do they get? Is it like a login to get the curriculum, or do they join for the Go Impact conference online? How does it work logistically?
Yeah, it's actually a closed Facebook group. I feel like that was the easiest way because everyone on Facebook, and it's way easier. So when you subscribe on our website, pageant360.com/ the 360 initiative, you are able to get the link to the group, and then, the admins, we accept you, and then you're in. So like whenever I get inspired, Facebook Live happens. But we also have a schedule in there for like Monday through Friday, what happens every day, and how we're able to empower you to go change the world today. Because right now you're able to do something, because I always believe in using what's in your hand to create change.
Yeah. Wow, I love this. Oh, so cool. Wow. Well, Carly, I just want to honor you for the work that you are doing, because it's truly impactful and a major scale. And I know it's still only just the beginning, and it's just going to grow. And I just look forward to so much pageant women seeing this and honoring this as a stepping stone to changing the world for all of the things that they want to do and create. So I just want to honor you for following God's path, obeying, dropping out of that last pageant, and then creating this new one. Like, that is just such a beautiful thing. So thank you for the work that you are putting in to make this a reality.
Oh my gosh, of course. All my girls involved make it all worth it.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. So before we leave, if you could just tell us where we can find you on social media and on the web.
Yeah, for sure. So for Carly personal, there's carlyhartman.com. All my stuff is found on there as well. But I have a YouTube channel. All my accounts are at Carly Hartman with 2 Y's. Created in high school. Can't get away from it now. Oops. Also, for the pageant, we're pageant360.com. And our handle is pageant360. So super simple. Just type in 360 somewhere, and I'm sure it'll pop up.
Cool.
But yeah, that's it.
Good. And I'll make sure all of those are linked below the video and on our show notes page as well, so people can get them there.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Carly, it's been such a pleasure. Thanks again for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure.
All right, lady, now it's your turn. What is something that you do on a regular basis to give back to your community? What are the things that are truly lighting up the lives of those around you? What's your legacy project? What's your platform? How are you changing the world? Leave a comment below this video, because I'd love to hear what you are doing. And if you love this episode as much as I did, would you give it a thumbs up? And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss a beat on any of our future episodes. Thanks so much for listening. Bye for now.